Love has long been seen as a prize to win on screen.
I think that's my biggest dream, to be your girl, to love you more than anything.
But how important that prize was to a character's motivations as a whole was generally split. For men, it was just a nice cherry on top, but for women, it was often the animating drive in their life.
Her dream man. Her backup dream man.
But for as long as it's been a trope, there have also been examples pushing back against that conception of romantic love. So let's take a deeper look at the love as a prize trope, how it shaped our views of relationships, why it fell apart, and how modern updates haven't gotten rid of love, but just changed what it means to win. For so long, for so many female characters on screen, no matter what their lives are like, the main focus of their life is often to find a guy that will fall in love with them. They might have great friends, a cool job, and seem like they've generally got a pretty awesome life, but they always feel like something is missing, and that something is always a dude.
I am someone who is looking for love. Real love. Consuming. Can't live without each other love.
There are certainly female characters who didn't get stuck in that trap because they had bigger fish to fry in their stories, but a surprising number of women characters are forced to operate with this idea that finding love, or some approximation of love, is the sole thing they need to focus on, the only thing that will make them feel whole.
Everyone needs a man.
These characters often feel like they're being left behind in life because they don't have that perfect relationship. They might have chosen to focus on other things up to this point and are now worried that it might mean that they'll never get their chance to find the one.
Everyone I know is either getting married or getting pregnant or getting promoted, and I'm getting coffee. And it's not even for me.
But her desire for a guy isn't just some abstract, oh yeah, that'd be nice idea. Hunting down and capturing the one drives her more than anything. She thinks that winning this prize, aka tying down the guy, is how she can prove her worth, both to herself and to society at large, that tells her that the caliber of guy she gets is a direct reflection of her own self-worth.
Aren't you afraid people are gonna look down on you?
At least I'm loved.
Because of this mindset, she thinks finding the one has to be a challenge. If it's too easy, then that means that he's not really worth it. When she is confronted with a guy who just likes her for who she is and doesn't make her chase him, she can't believe that it could be true love, because in her eyes, love should be work.
I'm used to the hunt, and this is effortless. It's freaking me out.
Because this search for love is the central motivation of her life, she's willing to shove aside all of her friendships, her job, even her family, and change everything about herself if that's what it takes to get the guy she desires.
You're obsessed with talking about big, and frankly, we can't take it anymore.
It's out of our league.
What is this, an intervention?
Yes, stop her before she obsesses again.
She's willing to fully erase her true self in an effort to capture her man because she believes that that version of her, the version of her that is good enough for him, is who she's really supposed to be. In Euphoria's second season, we saw how Cassie's desperate desire to be wanted and claimed by a guy, especially one like Nate, who was seen as an ideal guy sitting at the top of the high school food chain, caused her to completely blow up her life and ruin her real, actually loving relationship with her best friend.
I would have never done this to you.
Once she realizes that getting with Nate could be a possibility, that goal completely overtakes everything else in her life. Every waking moment becomes dedicated to becoming the kind of girl that Nate would be interested in. And because she sees this as a search for love, aka the most important thing, she can't even fully comprehend why it all falls apart so spectacularly.
I'm pointing out the principle.
What principle?
The don't your best friend's boyfriend principle.
But thankfully, not everyone's story is so miserable. Some characters who do initially start out on this love as a prize path actually learn from their mistakes and actually end up with happier, more fulfilling lives because of it.
I realize you and Daddy were upset when I didn't marry Barry and get the big house in the suburbs with all the security and everything, but this is just so much better for me.
While Carrie Bradshaw essentially spent her entire life post-meeting Big moping around trying to force him to love her and be her the one in the way she desired, Charlotte plotted a different path. She began the series as the friend who was most militantly on the hunt for love, with rules and regulations to match. But then she did get the guy who, on paper at least, seemed like everything she wanted, and it did not work out. But she didn't just stick around forever trying to force things to work or completely give up. She opened up her mind to more possibilities of what love and the perfect guy could look like, and through that new mindset, did end up finding the one for her. And she importantly realized that romantic love isn't everything, and made sure to hold her friends close, too.
Maybe we could be each other's soulmates, and then we could let men be just these great, nice guys to have fun with.
That sounds like a plan.
And while Cassie becomes completely subsumed by her quest for love, the betrayal actually awakens Maddie to how unhealthy her relationship with Nate was, and how important it is that she moves on and leaves him behind if she wants any hope of a happy, fulfilling life.
Out of sight, out of mind.
On the flip side of the coin, with male character stories, getting the girl is usually just a nice little bonus, another feather in his cap to show how cool and desirable he is, but certainly not the main drive of his narrative or focus of his life.
Double pump?
It squirts the fuel in so you can go faster.
Oh. I like to go faster.
He has a lot going on, and romance isn't really something that even crosses his mind, unless he happens to come across a pretty lady on his adventures, and even then, it's usually fleeting. While for the female characters, getting the guy is framed as the prize of her life, for the men, she's just an extra trophy.
Not the man I knew 10 years ago.
It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage.
One offshoot of this trope that was big in the 80s and 90s was a version where the male character didn't appreciate his wife until she's about to leave him. And then, through 90 minutes of action in which she either does not feature or functions as a damsel in distress, he realizes that he does actually care for her and wants to keep her around.
Hi, honey.
She and her love aren't the prize, but instead the keeping of her, and usually the taking back of her from some nerdy money guy that she started dating is the real win for these characters. When we do see male characters who position love and getting the girl as their main objective, they're pretty much always creepy nice guys. They do focus their energies around their hunt for the one, but only because they see her as an object that they deserve to have.
She can't say it's not meant to be. It is meant to be, and you know why? 'Cause I mean it to be.
While they don't see the one as someone that will complete them in the way the female versions of the trope do, they do have the similar drive of feeling that capturing this person will be what allows them to finally prove their self-worth to the world at large. And while the female version of the trope will change everything about herself to get the guy, the male version thinks that the woman he desires should completely mold herself into what will make him happy.
You want me to quit my job so you can feel like you have a girlfriend?
As time has gone on, we've begun seeing more and more stories that flip this trope, or even do away with it completely. Take classic Legally Blonde. Elle is initially singularly motivated to change up her entire life in an effort to get Warner back, but she pretty quickly starts to realize that that isn't the best place to focus her energy.
I even hired a coppola to direct my admissions video. All to get my boyfriend Warner back, and now he's engaged to this awful girl, Vivian, so it was all for nothing.
It takes her a while longer to fully accept that that dream she had of Warner being the one isn't the future she wants, but it's made easier for her by the fact that she does have other things going on in her life. In addition to acing her classes and making friends out of enemies,
Look, he likes you.
He's giving me kisses.
She's also the one that saves the day in the end. Her prize is a well-rounded, fulfilling life surrounded by people that care about her. In Bend It Like Beckham, Jess isn't interested in guys or a relationship at all. Her main driver is becoming a better player.
Your sister's getting engaged, and you're sitting here watching this skinhead boy.
Mom, it's Beckham's corner.
She does end up falling for a guy, but she doesn't give up her life or her future for him. She still keeps her plans to go off to America to play soccer with her best friend Jules.
Letting me go is a really big step for my mum and dad. I don't know how they'd survive if I told them about you two.
I guess there's not much point with you going to America anyway.
In a society where women are often told that the main thing they should be focusing on is finding a guy and settling down, it can feel daunting to do anything else. But in stories like these, we can see how fulfilling it is to keep fostering your full self. And if romantic love does come along, awesome, but you don't have to singularly orient your life around just that. The love as a prize trope feels pretty outdated to us today, and that's because we've thankfully learned the same lesson as many of our faves, that changing your entire life just to try to find or hold on to what society tells you should make you happy and complete isn't any way to live your life. And stories have also opened up to the fact that love can be an animating drive for men too, and not just in a creepy nice guy way.
You vex me!
And what is it do you think you do to me?
We also see more stories grappling with the reality from the other side. Characters who did finally net that dream person they had been hunting for, only to realize they've only ended up trapping themselves.
I wonder if the sad I'd be without you would be less than the sad I get from being with you.
There's also thankfully been a step back from those strict binaries around gender and sexuality and relationships altogether on screen, which has allowed us the opportunity to see all different kinds of ideas of what love can entail. And importantly, not as a prize that one must struggle to win, but as something positive that you build with someone or someones who care about you just as much as you care about them.
I know I am imperfect, but I will humble myself before you because I cannot imagine my life without you.
And crucially, the biggest shift has been in focusing on allowing characters to actually take the time to figure out what they actually want in their friendships, in their relationships, and in life as a whole. There's no one person or thing we can win that will magically make us whole and turn us into the person we daydream about being. But if we instead focus on loving ourselves and surrounding ourselves with people who truly care about us, we can build a life that definitely feels like a win.
This shit is hard and confusing. The last thing you need is to feel worse because you're not feeling something you're supposed to feel. Do what feels good to you.
That's the take. Click here to watch a video we think you'll love, or here to check out a whole playlist of awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And make sure to subscribe to our Patreon for exclusive new videos.